Have you just started your weight loss journey and are you wondering how people are doing on this medication about 10 weeks in? Well, in this episode, I'm going to give you an update on how it's going on Zepbound as I enter week 10. Hello, bold, brave, and brilliant ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in to Zepbound with Ange. If you are new to my channel, I'm Angela Durant, and my friends call me Ange. And I'm a wife, I'm a mom, and I'm the founder of the Be Brilliant movement, where I help amazing women and a few incredible men get seen, get heard, and get valued, right? Have them be valued for the brilliance that they bring to the world. We do that via branding and storytelling. And I'm also someone who has struggled with the disease, because it is a disease, the disease of obesity for most of my life. My highest weight, I was about 331 pounds. I am 5'2" and a half. So some people say vertically challenged, right? I have been carrying a lot of weight on my frame. And if you are someone who's considered weight loss medication, maybe you've had bariatric surgery in the past, like I have, maybe you are already on Zepbound or just starting, or maybe you're on Wegovy, Saxenda, Mounjaro, or Ozempic. If any of that applies to you and you're looking for a place where there's kindness and compassion and like-minded people, you are in the right place, my friend. Welcome. And please be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you're notified whenever we create new content. Whenever I post something, you'll be the first to know. So I started my journey on Zepbound in February of 2024, 10 weeks ago, and I weighed in at 296 pounds. This week, I'm weighing in at, drum roll please. This week, I'm weighing in at 266.2 pounds. That's 0.2, that doggone 0.2, right? 266.2 pounds. That brings my total loss down to 29.8 pounds. 29.8 pounds. Can we just call it 30? Can we call it 30? I was like, oh man, come on, let's get some more walking in. Let's drink some more water. Like, can we just get that 0.2? But I know as soon as I get off the call with you, like, it'll drop off, right? Anyhow, I'm officially 29.8 pounds down, almost 30 pounds. So I want to give you a quick just a view of what I look like. I wore a dress today. I like to wear dresses because I'm very girly, but not always. But I don't always wear dresses, but today I wore a dress. I want to show you. I think you can kind of get a good idea of what I look like. So this is me. almost 30 pounds down. This is me, almost 30 pounds down. And I'm going. My friend sent me a picture. She sent me a picture of a headshot of, she sent me a picture of my headshot before and after. And because I kept saying, I can't see it. Everybody's saying they can see it in my face, but I really couldn't see it. But in the shot she sent me, I was like, oh, okay, I can see a little bit. So that's great. And it's nice to be able to see it. It's encouraging, right? When you can start to see the fruits of all the things that you're doing to get the weight off, right? And get healthy, right? This is our journey to health. So almost 30 pounds down in 10 weeks. That's not too bad. I'll take it. So you may be asking, especially if you're new, so what's the secret to the success, right? What's the secret to the success? And I always say that I think an average of 3 pounds a week is high because typically they want you to keep you around 1 to 2 pounds. But because I weigh so much, I think the weight is coming off a little bit faster because of that. I will tell you that this medication is powerful. but the weight doesn't just fall off. At least for me, it just doesn't fall off by itself. I have to do my part, right? I have to do my part. And that reminds me of a story that I want to share with you about a dream that I had. And this was many years ago. My mom was still living at the time. And I had this dream that I never forgot, right? It was something that was really memorable for me. And I don't typically remember my dreams that I had, but this one I've never forgotten it. And basically, I had this dream about there was this really long table, like it was really long and very tall table, and there was this abundance of food. Why are my dreams about food? You know, I got issues, right? Anyway, there's an abundance of food on the table from one end to the next. Anything you could ever wish for or desire, it was there. This big king's table, right? And around the table were all these empty chairs and place settings. There was all these empty chairs. And then at the head of the table sat the Lord of the house. And he was feeding this dog, this little dog was to his left. And in my dream, I saw him bending over and feeding scraps from his plate to this dog. And then I noticed that under the table, there was this woman who was on her knees. It was a really tall table. She was on her knees under the table, and she was like begging and pleading, like crying out for help, for him to feed her, right? For the Lord of the house to feed her, right? And then I noticed that he looked under the table at the lady who was crying out for help. And then he turned his back to her. He looked under the table at her, looked at her, and then got back to what he was doing. He turned his back on her, and he continued to feed these scraps to the dog. And then I woke up, and I was like, that was a strange dream, but there was something about it that didn't sit right with me, right? So of course I called my mom, right? At the time she was living, and I was like, Mom, I just had this weird dream. It was about this, this table with everything on it. There was this woman who was crying out, and the Lord of the house wouldn't feed her. He wouldn't give her anything. He just ignored her, right? And my mom said, well, what do you think that means? And I was like, I don't know, but it doesn't sit right with me because, the God we serve, teaches us to be kind, right? To feed the hungry, to give to the poor, right? To do, like, why would he just turn his back and ignore her? Why would he feed a dog and not her, right? And then I was like, oh, I get it. Now, one of the things I have to say is that my mom used to always tell me that whenever I got a message, that message was for me first. And then you share it with other people. Like if there was something I was cutting up, I was doing something right, that message would come for me first before I can go out and tell other people about themselves, right? And so I said to my mom, I was like, I get it. And I wouldn't feed her either. And my mom was like, why do you say that? Why would you even say that? And I said, because she doesn't know who she is. She doesn't know who she is, and she doesn't know what she has access to. And I said, she's not a dog that she should be on her knees begging for scraps from the king's table, right? She's not, a dog that she should even be at that level, right? And I said, and there is a place for her at the table. There's a seat. There are all these empty seats and a place setting for her right at the table. And all she has to do is rise up and take her place. All she has to do is rise up, and she has access to abundance. There is an abundance of everything that she would want right there versus settling for crumbs or scraps under the table. And when I thought about that, I was like, my mom was like, well, that message comes for you first. And I said, how often have I cried out for something? How often have I prayed and begged and pleaded for help with something, but I didn't do my part, right? My part was all I had to do is rise up and take my place, right? All she had to do, this woman under the table, is take her place. There was a place setting specifically there for her, right? And then once she took her place, and once she would rise up and take her place, the abundance was hers, right? But unless she did that, then she would just remain begging for something that's way beneath what she deserved, right? that she would inherit all these wonderful things if she only took her place. But it's hard to take your place when you don't know who you are, right? And things look very different under the table than they do when you have a seat at the table, right? There's a lot of shade under the table, right? Your vision is obscured under the table, right? But when you take your rightful place and you have your pick of the things that you want, right? They're right there, and it's not that hard. But you have to know who you are to even rise up in the beginning to take your place. Okay. And why do I say that? Because in my life, I didn't always know who I was, right? I didn't always do the things that I needed to do. We are living in a time where there is cutting edge science that helps us with the challenge that we have. A challenge that for us, anybody and I speak for myself, it was a giant that it was very difficult for me to slay. Like I would go in there and fight the battle and I would lose. I would go in and fight the battle and I would lose. But many of us have these opportunities and we're not taking advantage of them. Like it's right within reach and we're not taking advantage of them. Or we're not doing all the things that we're supposed to do to get the results that we need to get. Or we're not being patient enough and having the right mindset to say, I know who I am. I know that medication works. It might not fall off as quickly as other people, but I know it's going to happen for me. And so I share that with you because many times I didn't rise up and take what was, available for me. I didn't take advantage of what was available for me because I didn't know who I was. And I believe that abundance is your birthright. Abundance is your birthright. And I want you to have an abundant life. Right? I want you to live in a great way. And it's hard. I speak for myself. It's hard for me to live an abundant life carrying an extra 200 pounds. It's hard. It makes that burden is very heavy. Right? But I have to do my part. There are things I have to do. Now, I do know that some people take the medication, right? And the weight just falls right off of them. Right? That's not my story. Right? But I will tell you, they too had to at least take the medication. They too had to have the courage to raise their hand and ask for help. They too had to be willing to, put themselves in a vulnerable position and speak to the doctor because the doctor might not have recommended it, right? To speak to the doctor and say, would you consider me? Would I be a good candidate for that? Right? That's what rising up looks like. It looks like you raising your hand. It looks like you saying, I'm worth it. I'm worth taking, the opportunity to advocate for myself, right? I want a seat at the table, right? Right? That's what that looks like. And so I want you to have an abundant life. I want your light to really shine so brightly that other people take notice and are inspired by you. So many of you are going through a transformation of a lifetime, right? You're going through a transformation of a lifetime and people are watching, people are noticing, right? I said to my husband, I was like, can you tell on my face? Can you tell that I texted him, I was like, can you tell? He goes, yeah, you're doing great, hon. You're doing great, right? People are noticing and that will inspire people. You will inspire people who are not even on a weight loss journey. You will inspire people to do other things. Maybe weight isn't their thing, but they see you working hard. They see the results. They see the transformation, and that inspires them to go after something that they wanted, right? So it doesn't always have to be about the weight. It's so funny because a few of you who are in my community, you crack me up. One lady said to me, I said, so how are you doing on your journey? She goes, I'm not interested in no weight loss medication. She's like, I have absolutely no interest in that. I just watch it because you're charismatic and I enjoy your show. I enjoy watching your channel, right? So you never know who's watching. You never know who your life will touch, right? But you have to do your part, right? We have to do our part. And you're so deserving of an abundant life, right? Your light will shine so brightly. Like people can't help but to notice it, right? And a lot of times it takes place, of course, your transformation is going to be on the outside, but a lot of it comes from the inside, right? It comes from the inside. You will give permission. You will give other people permission to go after what it is that they really want. So in addition to that, and I mentioned this, being willing to ask for help when you need it, right? And accept it. Because many of us, we're prideful. We're like, I'm not asking anybody. I just do it on my own, right? This journey that we're on is not about doing it on your own. It's not about doing it on your own. As many of you know, I have a medical team around me. We have the medication. I'm releasing myself from perfection, and I'm giving myself grace. I'm releasing myself from perfection, and I'm giving myself grace. So you're like, what's the secret? How are you doing it? Along with the medication, right? The medication is a huge lever, right? It's giving us a lot of leverage, but you also have to have the right mindset, right? And you also have to know you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be perfect. One step at a time, 1 little percent better every day, right? And giving yourself grace when you don't do when you can't show up, you're 100%. Giving yourself grace because it's okay. Moving my body about 5 times a week. I think there's been a week or two where maybe it was 4 times a week, but that is the goal is 5 times a week to get some physical exercise in. That'll help us with our muscle too. And then, and again, not going in alone, having a community of people. And going in when I first signed up for this journey, I don't know that I put the value that I have today on community, but it's so great. It's so wonderful being connected to other like-minded people and knowing you're not doing it alone. And knowing other people get it, they understand you. You speak a similar language, right? Like head hunger, like I get it. Put that beast on a leash, right? You're like, I totally know what the beast is. Slay that giant, right? We all know what we're talking about when we're talking about our challenges with our weight and the cravings, right? And obesity. So I absolutely, for those of you who didn't watch the YouTube live yesterday, sorry we missed you, but I absolutely loved connecting with each and every one of you yesterday. That was so much fun. And I wanted to ask you if I put together something, I had this thought. So I was like, oh, what if we got together, right? If I put together a really nice upscale event, a retreat for us, would that be something that you would be interested in? Would you be interested in coming together and actually meeting up and having fun and doing some cool things together in person? It would be a retreat that would be held just outside of Philadelphia, because that's where I am. And where we could spend some time together, time with me and with other members of our community. Maybe I'll bring in a private chef, maybe bring someone in who could teach us how to move and modify workouts so we get optimal exercise for ourselves. Maybe I'll bring someone in who could do a session on mindfulness to help us stay calm and centered. Would that be something that you would be interested in? With my clients, another thing that I do with my clients is I bring in a professional photographer and we do a photo shoot. So that might be fun. And I'm thinking sometime in July. So you got another 3 months, right, to shed some of that weight. But I thought maybe it would be fun to do a professional photo shoot for us too. If that's something, maybe we'll do that as a bonus. But if that's something that you're interested in, let me know. Let me know in the comments, right? If that's something that you're interested in, and then we'll have like a wait list, and I can talk to everybody to make sure everybody's a good fit for what it is we're looking to do. And if I have enough interest, then I will put it together. And then we'll go from there. I'm thinking sometime over the summer, like maybe in July. I have a couple events in July, so I have to figure out the actual dates. And if we do it similar to other retreats that I've done, which are you would come in like on a Thursday, and we'd be together Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then you would return home on Sunday. So I'm thinking this summer, so maybe around July. But let me know. I was on fire yesterday. I was like, oh, I love these people. I love this community, right? But let me know if that's something that you'll be interested in, and we can do a retreat just for us. It would just be open to people who are on this journey, and and we get a chance to meet each other in person and do some really cool things. So it's a really nice area, and it will be upscale, and it's not for everybody. I could only probably accommodate about 15 people. So I'm thinking, somewhere between 10 and 15 max. And so it's intimate. We get a chance to get to know each other off of YouTube, right? We get a chance to get to know each other. But let me know if you're interested. Put it in the comments, and then I will follow up with you with the wait list. Okay, as we put it together, because I have to, contact my team and make sure we can make everything work. All right. Okay. So I also wanted to talk to you about side effects. And some of you are like, okay, if you haven't seen any of the earlier videos, you may be wondering, okay, what about these side effects? That's what's really scaring me. And for those of you who went back and watched those videos and said, I'm scared, but I'm going to take the medication because you already had it in your fridge. Congratulations to you. Congratulations to you. And let us know how you're doing. So overall, I'm tolerating the medication very well. I am currently on 12.5 milligrams of Zepbound. I started my journey on Zepbound at 5 milligrams, and then I titrated up to 10. I skipped over 7.5, went to 10, did well on 10. I could have stayed at 10, but because of the shortage, I went to 12.5. And I'm hoping to stay here at 12.5 for a while because it's working. The only side effects that I've had now looking back over the 10 weeks are those itchy bumps. I'm not sure if I would call it hives. It's not a cluster of like a lot of little bumps. It's like one bump, as if a mosquito bit me or a spider bit me, and it's itchy. So my doctor prescribed some cream for me, so I have that. But that's one side effect that I noticed. And right away, in the beginning, I didn't connect the dots. I was like, that has nothing to do with this, but it does. So that's one side effect. Fatigue. Sometimes the first day that I'm taking it, I have to take a little nap. I just sleep on, I just like doze on the sofa, right? The first day, sometimes I get a little bit tired. And then the other thing that I hadn't identified before, I would say in the beginning, or maybe when I was on the 5 milligrams, I did have a bit of insomnia. I could sleep, but I tossed and turned quite a bit. I wasn't sleeping as comfortably as I do now. So those are the side effects that I've had. I haven't had any issues with constipation, diarrhea, all of those. I haven't had that. So I've been able to tolerate it very well. Now, many of you are also talking about the shortage. I know that the medication shortage is top of mind for most of you. You're like lighting up the comments about that. And what I think you'll find to be very helpful, and we talked about this on the live yesterday, is my friend Kristen's YouTube channel. Her YouTube channel is called 100 Pounds, Pounds, Down. Her name is Kristen. It's 100 Pounds Down. And this week, she has a great video addressing the shortage. What I love about her is she's super smart and she goes deep. So I want you to check out her site because she gives you a lot of different options for how to deal with the shortage of this medication. And she's very thorough, right? So she does a thorough job. So please follow her. I am working with her to get her onto our YouTube channel. So I'm going to interview her, and she's over 100 pounds down. So she's had a lot of success, and we can learn a lot from her. And she's a wonderful person. So please subscribe to her channel. And maybe you can put a note, say, Ann sent you. Ann, tell her Ann sent you. But her name is Kristen. The name of the YouTube channel is 100 Pounds Down. And if you're concerned about the shortage, this week, she's got a lot of good stuff in there. She's got a boot camp in there that's very good, that breaks down these GLP-1s and all the detail. It's a really great source, a resource for us. And I'll link her. I'll put her link in this video too, down in the description, so that you can check it out. But yeah, be sure after you watch this, go watch it if you have questions about that, and subscribe and follow her channel. She's really smart, and she puts a lot into each of her episodes that I think our community would really get a lot of value out of. So I hope that this has added value to you. I hope that that you're enjoying this journey. I want to hear from you too, because I know all of you are on your own journeys and you're losing the weight. I love getting updates from you. So please keep them coming. If you're brand spanking new, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. A bunch of you are watching, but not as many people are subscribing. That we just hit 1,500. I was like, yay, we have 1,500 subscribers. And I know there are people out there that have 100,000 subscribers, but I appreciate every one of you. So I celebrate all the wins. So I'm so happy to have this